Hello, everyone, and welcome to ROKStudios. I'm Stan Miller. I'm PR and Analyst Relations Manager for Rockwell Automation in the EMEA region, and I'm joined today by Felipe Koch. He is the Head of Product and Technology Innovation Automation Systems at Leonardo. Felipe, welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me here.
And I'm also joined by Stéphane Delacroix. He is Head of Studies, Support, and Training at Hub Performance, which is a member of our partner network ecosystem. Stéphane, welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Stan.
Gentlemen, we've got a great topic to discuss: how simulation technology helps make companies less risk-averse. Felipe, if I could start with you, please. How can emulation and simulation tools help mitigate risk in large-scale projects?
Thank you for the question, Stan. When you're designing a complex system, such as a system that is used in large-scale projects, of course, you go through your standard engineering tools that help you perform the mechanical and electrical and automation and so on design. But these tools are always looking at the system in a static behavior. Simulation and emulation allow you and enable you to actually look at these systems, how they are behaving in a dynamic way, and so allow you to anticipate the validation of the process level behavior of that system. That is a very critical step because it allows you to then ensure that the system that you have designed is going to work even before you have delivered it.
Felipe, that's great context. Stéphane, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, what Felipe described is actually dealing with simulation. We'll talk, I guess, later about emulation and controls testing. But the good thing is there is a link between simulation and emulation because simulation also allows you to specify and you have studied the optimization of the process of your system. So it will be also a specification to the controls that the PLC will have to control later on. So simulation in the mind of everyone knowing that business is mostly what-if experimentation. So you make a lot of scenarios and you try to find out how the system is supposed to work best. But it's also a way to specify how your control will work at the end. So this is an introduction to controls testing afterwards.
Fascinating. Guys, let's dig a little bit deeper. Felipe, if I could ask you, how important is this technology for companies operating in risk-averse industries?
It's absolutely critical. When you have to design and deliver a system that is perhaps going to be integrated into an airport, for example, where you might end up having to install thousands of conveyors that are controlled by hundreds of PLCs, you absolutely cannot fail. You have to get it right the first time. Otherwise, you're going to have a very big and significant impact in your customers' operations. And that is, of course, something that is not acceptable for that kind of piece of infrastructure. And so these tools are particularly critical to ensure, again, a smooth delivery process of the system that you have designed.
Sounds like it adds a lot of value. Stéphane, if I could ask you, are there any examples that you can share of how your two companies have collaborated to help overcome challenges by using simulation tools?
Yeah, sure. Actually, it's more than 20 years that our company, or us as humans, are supporting customers, especially in simulation in various industries. One of them is Leonardo, obviously, in several ways, either making project for them as a complete delivery, or also training their teams to be self-sufficient and being skilled enough to make their own project internally. And sometimes both together. The project might be too big for just the internal team, and we would support them, or we would just guide them for technical stuff. So we are there all along the way, and we've been training in years several teams on several software and several methodology, either on simulation or on controls testing. You don't always train the same people for these two activities. Sometimes they are the same, sometimes not, depending on the industry or depending on the customer.
Fantastic. Felipe, if I could ask you to round out our discussion, what should be the approach companies take toward adopting these solutions in the future? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, companies have to ensure that the use of this tool is something that is embedded in their engineering process. So if they want to operate in this industry, providing these kind of complex systems for these critical customers, um, absolutely has to be part of their engineering process. As Stefan mentioned before, not only then being used as in a single point, let's say, such as a final validation of the system, but it actually has to be embedded into the process in a sort of a loop. So where you can use the simulation and emulation to actually help guide your development, your design and development process, help guide the software development process, and so on. It absolutely is the standard today. Companies have to ensure that these tools are embedded and are part of their process. It's today an industry best practice.
Stéphane, if anything you'd like to add.
Yeah, I may add something. Actually, two things. The new software technology allows us to have a single model from the start, from the early studies, the pre-sales even, or demo, sizing, experimentation, as we said, up to the controls testing and virtual commissioning at the end. This can be a single model evaluating and moving from one team to another. That's one thing. This is a lot time saving and money saving, basically. And also, the second thing I want to add is that more and more final customers are asking their integrators to make virtual commissioning. That's mandatory in many areas, like airports, as we said. That's the main field where we are working together in airport systems, but also in automotive, for example, or nuclear. Of course, you would not go into the plant without having validated anything. That's for safety reasons in nuclear, for example, and also for airports. But also in automotive, if you have 1 week to work, it's not 2 weeks and 1 day, it's 1 week. So if anything goes wrong, you need to know it before being unplanned. So that's the trend.
Oh, I think that's fabulous context and a great way to kind of put a counterpoint on our conversation today. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us in the studio. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure too. Thank you, Stan.
And thank you for watching. If you'd like to learn more about simulation and emulation technologies, visit rockwellautomation.com.